Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. Welcome to Cross Point. I am here to grab two vehicles, and they are both Fords. So one of the Fords, I know where was left after the auction, but auction was Wednesday, and today is Monday, so nearly a week after, and I don't know if it's going to be parked there anymore, but that's where I'm headed now. Let's see if I could find it fast, efficiently, because it's raining and it's like 37 degrees outside. Here's the first one. Coffee Meetings Gangsta Rap. So, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna check fluids, so I'll need a detail. This is a pretty base truck, but it's a half-ton. Oh man, hood struts don't hold. Okay, so I'm gonna do this off video. I do see that we have coolant, which is a good sign. Okay, we have oil, which is right at the bottom, and it looks kind of dark on the dipstick, so I'll probably need to do an oil change. And we have transmission fluid, which looks fine. So this is more or less like work truck-ish, pretty base model. Let's see if he'll start. Beautiful. So while I'm in the truck, I'm actually going to drive around and see. I'm gonna turn off the heater because it's really cold out and I don't want to get cold. I hear the serpentine belt a little bit, which I can replace no problem. So this truck, as far as I know, moves great forward and reverse, not like the other F-150 I bought. And I feel like I hear power steering too a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. So either maybe new power steering pump or whatnot. Basically, we'll figure everything out together. But I want to find another vehicle that I purchased. It was a Ford Mustang, and this one, I don't know where they put it. So I'm driving into their building in hopes to find it, see it. Yeah, I'll give you guys an update once I find it. Beautiful. There's mine, H95 Ford Mustang. Okay, let's get this Ford pulled out now that I know where the Mustang is. I just didn't want to walk through the rain and keep looking for it, so I figured while I'm in the truck, it might be a little bit easier. But the Ford is running great so far, but I haven't really driven it much. So let me pull it out and we'll kind of move towards the lot. All right, I got the truck pulled out. Our oil pressure is good. Temperature is starting to rise. We have a little less than a quarter tank of fuel. And our alternator is working as expected. So now hopefully this thing will warm up. I have heat through the vents because it is very cold. I definitely hear the power steering pump. And I just jumped out to see if I have plates on this truck, and I still hear the serpentine belt, which again, I think it's all kind of fairly minor things, all things considering. Either I have tire noise or a bad wheel bearing, which almost sounds like a bad wheel bearing. So I got a few things to kind of take care of on this truck, but it moves because the other F-150 I purchased had weak reverse. This one does not. Yeah, something like just a humming sound, which sounds like a wheel bearing, but we'll see. So I'm gonna try to slowly make it to the lot and we'll do a walk around of this thing. I am about to get onto the freeway and temperature is almost at the center, but I have no heat through the vents. So either heater core is bad, maybe this knob is broken and doesn't turn the heat, and because it feels super light. So that could be an option, that this thing doesn't work the way it should work. Or we might have a bubble in the cooling system and we might overheat. I don't know. So we'll see, but it's cold in here. It's actually really cold in here. Ooh. I don't understand why it's 10 a.m. and there's traffic. Like, what the heck? But anyways, I took off this cover, and as you guys can see, I could spin it indefinitely. So maybe the mechanism in the back broke, so it's not turning it. So I think that's gonna be my first step to check for heat. But temperature is dead center, so I don't think we're gonna overheat because we are on the freeway, and I've done maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles now on the freeway. But I still have absolutely no heat, and it's very cold.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this thing made it, and look at it. I personally think it's actually a pretty sweet looking truck. It looks like tires are in great shape. They're nice Michelins. It has the nice wheels, not like that truck right there. The step side bed is really nice. It's actually somewhat uncommon. The downsides is this is a 6-cylinder truck with rear wheel drive, and it's more or less like construction spec, as you guys can see. The, I don't know whether they're vinyl floors or whatnot, or rubber floors, but this is perfect for like landscaping, construction, something along those lines. We have tow package. Aside from that, like, body is straight, it runs great, it shifts good, it doesn't pull to either side. But I have no heat, which I need to figure out. Power steering pump makes noise, so either it's a little low on fluid or we need a new power steering pump. Serpentine belt, I heard chirp when I first started it, which will need a new serpentine belt. And then it will need wheel bearings. So when I turn right, the weight goes on the left side and I really hear it in the front. So it will need new wheel bearings and then a detail, and hopefully it's gonna be ready to go. And again, it looks pretty good. I very rarely see F-150s with this type of bed for sale or even around. I paid after fees, I want to say like $4,300 for this truck. Say once I'm done with it, I'm hoping I'll be around 5 grand in it. And honestly, I'm gonna try to get maybe closer to 9 grand out of it because it does run good, and that bed is pretty rare. It might take a little bit longer to sell, but I'm sure there's gonna be a buyer for it, because something with this many miles in this area, if it's 4x4, full size cab and whatnot, basically like Lariat, I think Ford is Lariat. No, yeah, Lariat. Those are selling for like 14, 15 grand, which is mental, but we'll see. I'll negotiate. As long as I make money, I'll be happy. But I'm gonna park it somewhere, and we are heading back to Cross Point to pick up the Mustang, and hopefully that one has a heater because I am super cold. The rain's still here. Well, let's navigate through here and find the Mustang. Man, it is really cold and so wet. There's the tip. This one's also convertible. Mine is newer though. So this is a 2014, I believe. It has a rebuilt title, and I paid, I think, right under 7 grand for it with fees. So let's pull it out, and then we'll do a walk around at the lot. So that's a good sign. Oof, the seat seems like it's high up. Alrighty, let's see. Windshield wipers off, but we will need them. It's a leather interior. So it seems like it's a premium. Do I have heated seats? No, I do not, but oh boy, oil change required. That's fine, we'll do that. Let me get some heat up in here. Where's my heat stuff? There's that. Heat is up. Awesome. Let me adjust my seat and we'll pull this thing out. I'm driving through that warehouse. It looks like we have bi-xenon headlights. So this is a V6. Like I said, it has a rebuilt title. I have the Carfax for it. I just don't remember where the damage was, but I want to say it was 3 years ago or so. But this thing looks pretty nice. I mean, it's white over this like cream leather interior. We have some funky business here. It's kind of damaged, but we are sitting right under 95,000 miles, and I'll probably hit 95,000 miles on it with my driving. So in 70 miles, it'll be 95K. But really hoping I feel that heat because I am super cold. And then, I mean, we're on our way to to the lot. The temperature gauge is just starting to creep up and I have warmth. That makes me very happy. But this thing is running great so far, shifting good. The only thing is the clock is flashing. That's not the accurate time, and either this whole thing doesn't work or I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna need to look at that. Yeah, aside from that, oh, sorry for the angle. Aside from that, everything seems to be working just fine. So take it to the lot, take another look. So this one might have been the better purchase between this and then the Ford.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
And there's the Mustang out in light, which I think it looks good. It has the, I think, American something wheels. I had them on an older Mustang, but they look pretty good, even though they're chrome. I'm not a big fan of chrome, but they look good. So driving it, we will need new rotors and brake pads. It shakes pretty bad under braking, but that's not a big deal. I'll get those purchased replaced. I really like the bi-xenon headlights because I think they look fantastic on the Mustang, especially with the LED strip. We have heat, as far as I know, everything works minus the radio, and from what I was able to find out, when it's flashing, that whole unit needs to be rebuilt, so I need to look into it. We also have the LED taillights, which honestly look really good, so I'm very happy with this purchase. I'm gonna park it and go from there. Well, and I'll also need a detail. So I basically have a list created of things I need for the Ford and, well, both Fords. So I'm gonna pause the video here and kind of see where I want to go with the video from here, but we're gonna take a pause here. You guys saw the purchases, they both made it, which is the first step to success.
Several days later.
Alrighty, it is a new day. It's actually 2 days since the last clip. And I'm in the Mustang. I want to take the radio out because this issue that I'm having with the flashing and radio not working is a common issue. And the way to fix it is you have to either get a new radio or get this one fixed. So I found some, I guess, companies, people that fix it. The price ranges between $90 to $130 and I pay for shipping. But I want to get it done because you'll need brake pads, rotors, detail, and then the radio. And I think this car is ready to go. The truck, I bought a whole bunch of parts for. I mean, a whole bunch of parts. So between the Mustang parts and the Ford F-150 parts, I probably spent $500 in parts. But that's gonna be either later in the video, maybe we'll do a part 2. Anyways, right now I am going to start working on the Mustang. And getting this removed should actually be super, super easy. And I don't have anything but a screwdriver at the lot to use for this, so please don't hate me too much. Now maybe this one I could do by hand. Let's see. Yep, there we go. And maybe I'll go like this. I basically need this plastic trim piece to come up, so maybe I will use a screwdriver. Essentially, I want to lift this up and then put this into like neutral or drive to give me space. There should be a 7mm. I think this cover comes up, and then there's 4 7mm bolts for the radio, and then just a few connectors. So very, very simple and straightforward. There we go, got that lifted up. Now we are putting it in neutral, and then essentially, oh man, this is always so difficult doing it with one hand, and then I'll put it into park. Man, that's filthy underneath, yikes. I could disconnect this one right here just so that it's easier, but again, one hand is always so difficult. Then we'll put that to the side. Yikes, that is gross. And then I could turn this off. I don't think I'll need that anymore. But here are the 7mm bolts. Let's see if I got the right socket. I do. Beautiful. Oh, sorry, not this one. This one right here. I don't need that one. I could tighten that one. My apologies. It's this one right here. So that one, and then the one on this side. There we have the top one. to the side, disconnect that. Let's see how well I could do this with one hand. Okay, so we could place that down. That's just the face. And then we have 4 7mm bolts here. There's the opening and there's the radio. So all of this I am going to leave like so. I will probably take it to my detailer to get it detailed like this, so he could do this part and all of this and basically whatever he sees. That is gonna get mailed out. Hopefully I could mail it out today, maybe tomorrow.
2 weeks later.
I believe it has been a little over a week, maybe a week and a half. Maybe we're pushing closer to 2 weeks now, but the radio came back from the repair people. Yeah, it's supposed to be fixed. So what I'll be doing now is reinstalling it. While the radio situation was going on, the car did go through detail. It's all cleaned up. So essentially, once this is installed, all I have to do is front brake pads and rotors. Essentially, this car's ready to be sold. So without wasting any time, I'm gonna jump in and reinstall this radio, and hopefully the company that I sent it to did it right and didn't goof up anywhere. All right, let's see. Where's our volume?
Water.
Okay, we have volume now. Well, I think we had no issues with the HVAC, but yeah, it's no longer flashing, so the company did a fantastic job. Now I could leave the car here until I'm ready to do brake pads and rotors, which will probably be tomorrow. But I paid, I think, $20 to ship the thing to them, and then they charged me around $20 to ship it back, and it was like 90 bucks to get that radio thing situated. So I don't know, 140 bucks to get it done, which honestly, I think it's worth it.
The next day.
Well, Mustang and the Ford, ooh, there I am, have been reunited. I picked that up from my mechanic yesterday. He did fix everything I needed him to fix. And when I was taking it to him initially, I felt a slight kind of like stutter. And I told him, hey, take a look at that. So he pulled codes. He said, shows like random misfire. And just now I pulled codes. It showed for, I think, cylinder 6 misfire. It's not super noticeable. There's no check engine light, but like it's very, very faint. So I have new spark plugs, new ignition wiring set that I'm gonna install. Spark plugs are gonna be OEM Ford. Ignition wires are NGK. They're the blue wires. So that's my job now, and I'm trying to take a look. How difficult is this going to be? 1, 2, 3. Okay, in theory, shouldn't be super difficult. Yeah, driver's side is going to be easy. This one is going to be a little bit tougher, as this is a metal hose of some sort, and the ignition wires are right there. So I don't know, maybe an hour job. So I'm gonna start working on that. I don't know why I'm still wearing this. And hopefully once I'm done, all this truck will need is a good detail. It's ready for the next owner. Alrighty, well, spark plugs and wiring has been replaced. She is hurrying. Now I just have to decide what I want to do with either one of these. I think I'm gonna leave them for now. It's a beautiful day, probably go home, spend some time with the family. Because I've been stuck here since morning, so, and it's gonna rain tomorrow. So I think, again, we're gonna put everything on pause, and I don't know, maybe resume. I'm not gonna show you how to take the Ford to the detail, but that's gonna be its next step. Detail, Mustang, we still gotta do rotors and brake pads.
The next day.
The Mustang will be and should be ready today. I just took it through DQ. It passed with no issues. So pretty much the only thing I have left to do is wash the outside, photograph it, and get it listed for sale. Yesterday I took this car home. I did the brake pads and rotors on it. If you are a subscriber, you probably already saw the video on the brake pad and rotor replacement. If not, and you are interested, that's available on the channel. So this car is ready to go. It runs really well. There's no weird clunking It doesn't pull to any side. The tires are actually like brand new. I wouldn't be surprised if they had less than 1,000 miles on them. And actually very smooth, quiet ride, especially for a Mustang. So I'm very happy with this purchase. I'm very happy that it's coming to an end. I'm gonna clean it up and photograph and get it sold. And last thing on the list will be the F-150. It went into detail. But I'm kind of losing heat again through the vents, so I'm assuming I'll need to clean out the heater core. So that's possibly down the road in this video. So I'm a little bit worried taking it through the car wash, because I didn't show you guys, but I found a small hole and I patched it up right here. It looks better in person than it comes through on the camera. But yeah, since it's a fresh patch, and I don't know if the car wash is gonna get like stuff like this out, so I definitely want to come in here and more direct and get it all done. So that's kind of the goal now. Clean it up, and then next step is photograph, and this thing is ready.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Mustang has been photographed inside and out, but the one thing I realized, I never tried the convertible top. We're gonna do it right now, because I gotta know. So I think our first step is, there we go, this one, that one, and then I think it's this button right here. Oh yeah. Well, really odd folding technique by Ford. I thought something would open up like in here and then fold it, but it looks like super simple, easy. Yeah. So we know it folds down. The question will be, is it going to fold back up? I guess we're good. I think 2 thumbs up for me. So I am going to my detailer. The Ford F-150 is done. I mean, I think you guys saw pretty much everything with that truck. The only thing I might need to do is flush the heater core. But I'm gonna do it off video, or maybe do a separate video, probably a separate video. I wanna wrap this up. I wanna finish this up. I feel like you guys more or less saw a lot. Or I told you guys a lot about these cars. Both Fords, both are pretty much ready to rock and roll and be sold. Hopefully I make some good money on these cars. Subscribe, drop a comment in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate your time. See you guys in another video.